Listen, if you would like more harmony at home and more breathing room in your business, there is one particular skill that can transform your relationships with other people. And so in this video, we are going to take a look at the lost art of consensus. Now, I was just on a call with a client who is running into so much friction with his business partner that the relationship itself is about to rattle apart, and Lord only knows what becomes of the business after that. And as we were talking about how he could work through this situation, how he might resolve this, I reminded him of this particular skill. Now, I'll say that in advance of this, it's going to matter quite a bit for you to be clear on what you ultimately want. And a significant feature of that is going to be bringing your emotional experience to bear. Our feelings tell us what matters to us, in what way it matters, and to what degree it matters. Now, I've spoken about the emotional mastery skill set in other videos. I won't go too in depth in it here, but I'll say a large part of this is going to depend on you knowing what you ultimately want. If you don't know that, it's going to be very hard to find consensus. Now, when you have in the back of your mind what it is you would like, the thing that you want to do in order to develop and transform your relationships is identify the least amount that you and the other person can wholeheartedly agree to. What you're looking for is essentially what is the lowest common denominator that gets full buy-in from the both of you. As another example, when I'm working with clients who are potentially reckoning with divorce, or they're trying to reconcile the relationship in the midst of that, quite often the least amount that both parties can agree to, husband and wife, is that they want to minimize the harm that this causes the children. That, I mean, it's humblingly low at times, what it is we can really wholeheartedly agree to, but finding that orients both parties toward a common goal. And so this art of consensus, it can be very slow going at the outset. I mean, maybe the least amount we can agree to is way down here. Our aspirations, our goals are way up there, but boy, the only thing we can get 100% buy-in is way down here. So be it. We have to figure out what it is that the two of us can wholeheartedly agree to, and then work toward achieving that. Now, when we've done so, we have discovered an incredible resource for the relationship. We've discovered a shared success that is moving us toward things that matter to the both of us. So when we achieve that, we can take a moment to recognize, wow, we did that together. How great. What's the next thing that the two of us can wholeheartedly agree to? And again, we're looking for the lowest common denominator, the least amount that gets both of us all in. Now, you'll note that highly functional relationships, they're in agreement on a lot of things, like way up here. But for those of us who may find ourselves at times in dysfunctional states, we've got to look much lower. We've got to humble ourselves in the relationship to discover the low bar for what gets total buy-in from both parties. I'll say this applies not just to dyads, one person and another person. This applies to systems of all sizes, let's say. So at your next family meeting, your family will transform if together you can reach a point of consensus, the least amount that all of you can wholeheartedly agree to. Your team in your enterprise will be transformed if you and the team can wholeheartedly agree to one thing. So again, I'll say that this applies to systems at every scale. What we're looking to do is find the minimum amount that gets complete buy-in from everybody. Now, you may have an idea as to what that low bar is. Uh, I'll suggest, though, that you want to frame this as a proposal. You're going to make a proposal to the other person and say something to the effect of, the most important thing for me right now is that we can come to an agreement. Uh, I have this idea that we might be able to agree to this. Am I correct in? Do you agree to that? Maybe they say yes, in which case, great. You can start determining how you go about achieving that. Maybe they say no. And look, that's inherently going to be frustrating. You make a proposal, they say no, you're frustrated. Okay. This is where learning how to manage your emotional experience, particularly regarding frustration, becomes so important. Again, I don't want to get into weeds on that here, but treat this as it's just a negotiation. The two of you are going to be frustrated together a little bit back and forth until you find the thing that you can both agree to. So if they say, no, I can't agree to that, well, then ask, okay, what do you propose? What do you imagine the both of us could agree to? And maybe they come up with something that you think is outlandish. Well, okay, no, I can't do that. But you recognize, all right, we can't agree to that. And I can't agree to that. But maybe we can agree to something down here. Fine. Again, this can be so humbling at the start. It's such slow progress working to find genuine consensus. But boy, the more we do so, we build a flywheel. Maybe not a flywheel. We just build such a more robust foundation because it is built on agreement. It is built on a bedrock of shared values. That ultimately is going to determine what this relationship is capable of in the future. For the time being, though, you would do well in your marriage, in your business partnership, in your family, in your team meetings, whatever the case is. You would do well to maybe explore a bit and see what is it that all of us could agree to. Quite often, here's where I'll say this gets to be very important. Quite often in our relationships, there's kind of a half-hearted agreement. Whoever speaks first or speaks loudest, they're the one who puts the goal forth, and other people they just kind of they go along to get along, but they're not all in. And the relationship as a whole suffers because of that. The relationship as a whole is deprived of the resources that each individual could bring to bear if they were all in. And so, again, we're not looking to merely defer or comply with whoever speaks first or talks loudest. We're looking to see, can everybody, really, can everybody resonate with the pursuit of this particular goal? I promise you, if you make a full faith effort of this in your relationships, the relationship will transform. Uh, I don't know what that looks like, given that I don't know what relationship you're looking to transform. But this can save marriages. This can save business partnerships. This can make teams work much more effectively. And this can bring so much more joy to families. So I really do hope that this is a blessing for you. I hope you'll go ahead and actually put this into practice for yourself. Again, you want to be very clear at the outset what it is you ultimately desire in the relationship and be willing to be a bit frustrated in getting there right away. You can be patient. If you know where you're going, you can afford to take small steps there. When you get very good at taking the small steps of consensus together, the larger leaps become much more readily available. So, anyway, I appreciate your time, your attention. I know those are your most precious resources. So, I hope this blesses you, and I will look forward to speaking with you in the next video.